Does anybody on Zoom have any public comment? Anybody? I know, I'm thinking I should have brought one.
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna call it meeting to order. It is 5:31 on Tuesday, June 20th. We'll be doing a roll call for the counselors in attendance. The audience introductions has already been done on our orange sign-in sheet. So in an effort to condense our meetings, we're going to move away from audience introductions unless it's a special, somebody doing a special presentation. So, and just so we're clear, we do have a quorum because we did have a counselor resign their position, which we will address here shortly. So if council would like to do a roll call, start with you, Ron.
Here, Rob Verbalvanick, City Council.
Haley Ferguson, City Council.
Patty Verbalvanick, City Council President.
Krista Miller, City Clerk.
Stephen Tripp, Mitchell Mayor. Okay, if everybody like to stand, if you have a hat on, please move your hand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Somebody would like to do an invocation, please do it this time.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we humbly come to you before this time. We ask you now that you will hand down wisdom and knowledge that we can conduct this meeting in a manner that is appropriate. And we just ask you to watch over and bless everybody here tonight. And all these things we ask in thy holy name. Amen.
Thank you. Moving forward, to establish a quorum, we need to recognize that
Great.
Greg Mooney has resigned his position. So if the council would like to accept his resignation, please do so at this time. Councilor Heber.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Greg Mooney's resignation for council position 5.
I'll second that motion.
Councilor Berberbank, Key Berberbank has made the motion. Councilor Kay Ferguson has second motion to accept Greg Mooney's resignation. Open for discussion. Madam Clerk.
She and Counselor position number 4 is Kay Ferguson. They're both Kay
Alright.
Ferguson.
Okay, Kaylee, I'll address her as Kaylee, and thank you. No discussion. Councilor P. Berberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Berberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Council is approved, 3 ayes, 1 medical leave, 1
We don't need to.
not in attendance. So with that, we do have a quorum established. We have 3 city councilors. So moving forward, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we do. The minutes of April 11th, 2022, the resolution 23-10. And then the fire chief came today asking to be put on the agenda for purchasing a vehicle and a laptop.
Thank you. Council, do you accept the changes to the agenda?
Sure.
Councilor P. Berberbank.
I make a motion to accept the changes to the agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Kaylee Ferguson, thank you. Councilor P. Berberbank has made the motion. Councilor Kaylee Ferguson had seconded the motion. Open for discussion. The only thing that I would like to point out is that Fire Chief Rayburn came to me at our special meeting and asked me about this. And I told him to get a hold of the clerk prior to the meeting, not the day of the meeting, to get on the agenda. So if there was any paperwork to be brought, as in type of vehicle, what year, what condition, anything like that, the council would have a chance to overlook it. So, with that, I have no further discussion about it. No further discussion. Councilor P. Verberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Verberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council has approved the changes to our agenda. Thank you, council. Moving forward, we are to approve our agenda as presented. Councilor P. Verberbank,
I make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
thank you. Councilor R. Verberbank.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Councilor P. Verberbank, seconded by Councilor R. Verberbank. Open for discussion. No discussion. Councilor P. Verberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Verberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Council has approved our agenda as presented. We are to approve our consent agenda at this time. Not public comment on it.
Well, when it's time for public comment about this topic, I'd like to speak up.
Okay, would you like to get on the public comment list?
No, I want to respond to this particular item, which has a public comment section. If you find any mistake in minutes, you're supposed to raise your hand.
That's for the council.
Okay, well, I'm gonna my hand raised. If you don't want to call it, it's fine.
It's
No, don't make me the speaker. Go ahead.
when it's open for discussions, for council discussions, not for public comment.
Okay, well, there's two mistakes that call my name, and I just want to make sure that that's clarified.
That's
That's for the
the
council.
council.
Okay, they can make that decision, but I just have my hand up. If you don't want me to have my hand up, I can lower it.
Make a motion to approve. the-
Councilor Kaylee
Sorry.
Ferguson,
Make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
thank you.
I'll second that.
Councilor R. Verberbank.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, seconded by Councilor R. Verberbank to approve our consent agenda as presented. Vote for discussion. Hearing no discussion, Councilor P. Verberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, how do you vote?
This is.
Aye.
Councilor R. Verberbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council has approved our consent agenda, 3 ayes. Thank you, council. We're to announcements and proclamations. And there's an announcement that City Hall will be closed July 19th through the 21st. Do we have any public hearings?
Excuse me, do you have an announcement about the format of this meeting?
Oh, yes. Moving forward, public comment is for public comment. When a motion is made, a motion is seconded, it's for the council's discussion. Means that we cannot discuss anything outside of a public meeting. This is their time to have an open discussion. At our last meeting, I let our meeting get way out of control. That's why the agenda is posted, that's why the agenda is put out. So if you see something on the agenda, you want to do an open public comment, you sign in, you have your 2 minutes of open public comment. Our meeting last time ran way too long. The idea is for the members of our community to witness what goes on. Again, we are all in volunteers here. We are doing the best we can with trying to help. I am wanting to streamline our meetings. There's no reason we need to be here for over 2 hours. So moving forward, we are the open discussion, and after council makes a motion, seconds it, it'll be open for discussion for the council. So if anybody has any more public comment, this is your last chance to get on your public comment. Also, moving forward, if I ask, if the council, if the people, anybody gets out of hand to me, if you're asked to leave, you do not leave. Or if you do leave and you come back, we are on video recording, and I've been instructed to notify the sheriff department, and you will be trespassed. Because I've had numerous times where I've asked people to either be quiet or leave and they come back. And it's very disruptive to our meetings.
My house is here.
Are we on?
We don't have any public hearings, so we are to the open public comment.
Mr. Reddish,
Yeah, Ron, hang on a second, let me get my timer.
truth in Francis,
Finances.
finances.
Are you ready, Ron? You have 2
Yeah.
minutes. Go work.
What?
Go,
How many
2 minutes.
went down from 4 to 2? I'll tell you what, if you go down to a minute and go down to 10 seconds. So here's what I'm saying. I want to see you showing, to show me your courage. How many want a forensic audit? How many want Terrell to stay on the job? How many want, Glenn to stay on the job? How many were here fortunately heard Gabe's great little paragraph I had the privilege of reading? How many are riding with Gabe? I demand a forensic audit. I demand a forensic audit. Did I hear you say that?
We demand.
Good.
The city council demands a forensic audit.
Here, just a few people. We demand a forensic, let's hear it. We demand a forensic.
We demand a forensic audit.
We demand a forensic audit.
All right, be careful to kick you out.
We do, no, you can't kick me out. I'm here under the creator's law, not man's law. There's only one truth. So look at man, they change laws all the time. They go off the record. We're never off the record.
They're not showing it.
No. They manipulate the rules, they change them, they use them the way they want, they browbeat us and accuse us of browbeating them. All I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen, I've been through this crap in bigger cities than this little town. I want to see this as a city. We can sit say over and over again, nonstop. We demand a forensic audit. We can't do nothing about it. We don't recognize their government because if they were telling the truth, they would say, yeah, we want a forensic audit.
Your 2
We
minutes
want a
are up.
forensic audit. Well, this, please,
Ron, your 2 minutes are up.
Thank you,
Call it,
Mr.
please.
Reddish.
call, look, just call the National Guard now.
You
Call
never
up the
once
airport.
even spoke to us.
Next.
Just go on.
Have everybody in the city sign a petition because people have to be held accountable.
We've been asking for this for 5 months.
That's it.
Teresa
Let's get a
Riley is
petition.
up.
They cannot stand up to a forensic audit or they would do it. And we would win, end of story. You win. End of
Ron,
story.
I have to ask you to leave this meeting. You're being disruptive.
Thank you. I'm not listening. Call the National Guard. Call, they didn't give me a shoot me.
What?
I'm almost done. If he doesn't interrupt, I'll be done.
No, your 2 minutes were, you're interrupting.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so scared. Look,
Okay,
you can't, no.
This is ridiculous.
Calling the sheriff's office right now.
Thank
No.
you, thank you. sir.
Call
May
the
we take a
police.
recess while you do that?
I don't care if you're here, I'm almost done.
Yeah, I think we should.
We all agree.
This
Yeah,
is-
would you like to make a motion to recess?
Our city council
We don't
meeting
recognize the
as
government.
citizens.
You're in 45 minutes.
And he succeeded.
I'd like to make a motion for us to take a recess while we're trying to get hold of the sheriff's
They were
office.
honest, they would just say yes.
What's the
And
address
as soon as
there?
they prove it's wrong.
108.
We're out of here.
Nelson Street.
But they can't prove it's wrong. So they will lose.
No, no.
I-
They will come out here and just like, and any honest
voting to
people
take
say
a
recess,
recess.
maybe just go.
We're voting to
They
take a
tried,
recess.
they saw it,
It's
they
all-
baked them, they hired
it's all
oil
on
and they saw
video.
oil.
Okay, we are in recess.
458.
Teresa Riley has two topics, fire, maintenance and death.
No.
Yes, no,
D.
Just the fire maintenance, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, just before you get started, you cannot discuss job performance.
I'm not discussing
Okay, I'm just-
any job
Okay, I'm
performance.
just letting you know because that
I
is.
know.
Are you ready, Terry?
Yes, I am.
Go.
I'm writing this, wrote this and sent it to the city council, say today. Not the mayor, I didn't send to the mayor or the clerk, but to the city, okay? The city council makes all the decision and passes or denies everything, am I right? The city council does this, correct? Okay, the city of Mitchell will not have a fire department of things, keep going the way they are. Without a fire department, we have no school, because the school cannot exist without a fire department. Our properties will have no fire protection. If we do have insurance, it will cost more than most of us can afford. Our fire chief has been bullied, not only from council members, clerk and mayor, but from other fire department. Just, anyway, this family has 25 years. They've been here 25 years. The two sons, our fire department consists of 3 people, a family. One of the sons here joined the military and he served his time to take care of the United States. The other son went to school.
Why is he disrupting the meeting?
And every school.
Why is he disrupting the meeting?
Are we serious?
Why is our mayor
Are
disrupting?
we
the meeting?
actually serious?
No, I'm
I'm
talking.
actually
No,
serious.
we were
You're
fine
interrupting
until
me.
you interrupted.
No, he is. I can't hear her with him over the
Oh
floor
my
talking,
God.
interrupting the meeting.
We will not get.
President?
No, the mayor has to appoint the president, has to call the president, not.
Crazy, what is going on here?
That ain't how it works.
Okay, I just want to finish my letter.
I would love for
Okay.
you to, yes,
Go ahead.
please.
Okay. Anyway, I talked about the Ravers, about what they've done for this town, and they have, and this country. We need to keep our fire department, and I know that this man has been through a lot with the council, when I was on the council. And they need not, we need to leave our fire department and our maintenance alone. We need our maintenance man. We do. What do we do without Carol around? What? And what will we do without our fire department? And like I said, there will be no school. There will be nothing, because if without a fire department, we're nothing. We can burn down.
Your 2 minutes are up, Terry. I gave you extra time for, like, inadvertently taking a phone call that was.
Okay. I just have one little thing because I was interrupted.
Make it quick, please.
Okay, my question is to each one of you staying here in front of, why are you in Mitchell? Why are you trying to destroy our little town? And that's what's happening. Talk to the people out there. Stop trying to change our maintenance department, our school, our fire department, and mostly our way of life. Enough is enough.
Thank you. We don't need to respond to a public comment.
She asked the question.
Oh, Counselor R. Verbank, if you'd like a quick response.
Excuse me, there's actually a council comment time
Yeah.
to address.
We do have a council comment at the end of our meeting for 2 minutes if you'd like to address the public comment. It's open public comment. They're able to say whatever they want, as long as they abide
If
by
you ask the question.
some decorum. We will answer that question at our, at the end of our meeting. Who's up next?
We have Kevin, Michael
Oh,
Mitchell.
he was for the fire department, but they approved on the agenda. I mean, if you want your 2 minutes, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, it's up to you guys, want me to speak now or speak on the fire department?
You have more time for the agenda item than the 2 minutes. So,
I'll wait for them.
got it. Thank you.
Then we have Catherine Cook. To be heard in all decisions, agenda, maybe that's somebody else. To be heard on all decisions. Citizens.
Are you ready, Kathy?
Yep.
Go.
Okay. By making it where the council makes a motion and the citizens can no longer respond after that motion, how in the heck are you gonna know what the citizens who elected you guys and you're supposed to represent, how in the heck are you supposed to know what we feel, our opinions, anything else, if we cannot make a comment after the motion? You have to have public input directly on the agenda item after they make a motion. How can you tell us no? You have to be able to hear the citizens and by saying, hey, we can make this decision, and heck, you can't have an opinion about it. You have to put it in a thing, and we can't discuss topics that are brought up in the motions. I think citizens should be able to make a discussion, limit it to 2 minutes. But we should be able to make opinion, discussion, whatever, after each motion. Not allowing us to is saying, hey, citizens, you can't speak, don't have an opinion on this item. That's wrong.
Yep.
You sure got 45 seconds if you
And
want.
I will contact CIS about it. That's their opinion. No problem.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else?
It looks like Alex agenda.
He doesn't want.
Sure, no, I'll speak. Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I didn't put my name on there. I'm already sorry. I didn't put my name on there, but I was put on there, so I'll go ahead and speak.
No, somebody did put your name on.
Yeah, I know, and I'm speaking. Please, don't.
2 minutes has started.
Thank you. So I was going to speak about my name being incorrectly used twice in the agenda, but instead of that, I'd rather point out that this has happened for over 1.5 years since Chris was taking the job. She's continued
Excuse me.
to, okay, all right, I won't use names.
You're using, hang on, stop.
Okay.
You're doing job performance, which I just got done saying you cannot discuss job performance.
That wasn't job performance.
Yes,
That was
it was.
conduct.
What's the difference? I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you. If you'd like to ring
You're the one
your.
interrupted me when I was speaking. I'm done.
And I stopped your clock.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody else? I think Dan.
Dan is.
I scratched my name off.
Okay.
Get off the voice.
Thank you for everybody's open public comment. We will address your concerns at the end of our meeting when the council does have 2 minutes of their own time.
I don't think we will.
And I do have 2 minutes of my time to answer your questions, concerns. Correspondence, do we have any correspondence? Moving forward, grant, excuse me, grant opportunities and updates. Recycling, Councilor Verbank, update.
They are still in the process of deciding what cities are going to be taken care of and which aren't.
Okay.
And I don't believe that they do the assessment on that and actually let anybody know until the first or middle part of July.
Thank you. Anything else?
Pardon?
Anything else on that subject?
No, not on that subject.
Oregon Parks Planning Local Government Grant update. Madam Clerk.
Yes, I applied for this and they gave us some suggestions of where we could go that would maybe be a better fit, and I'm happy to forward those, but from this gentleman's point of view, that it's such a small park that maybe you should just appoint a committee and design it that way, and based off of the order of the playground equipment, if the mayor would like to appoint a committee later, I think I have it on for new business, it might be just better to go that way, because I think these are usually designed for bigger parks. So even though we won't have that to go after grants for parks, the feasibility study is usually what's done in order to get the grants. We'll just have to kind of look at something else that fits us.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else on that subject? And
No, sorry.
items removed from consent agenda, were there any items? No. Moving forward, we're to our old business. Vote on our council attendance. You have it in the
We have Delene Catmull absent May 30th and again today.
Have you had any?
Not for today. And the one on May 30th was a 2-hour notice, which goes against our council rules of procedure.
And the May 30th, there was no call, no nothing.
2 hours notice by email
May,
on May 30th. Today, no notice.
because there's two May 30th.
One was a special meeting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But
And the other was a work
work
session.
session, I will have to double check that.
Because we did have that one day that was, I thought, a special meeting and a
Mhm. Yeah.
regular.
And
So
I don't
I
believe
would
that
like
she
to
was
proceed
one of
with
those.
the attendance of Councilor Catmull, excused or unexcused.
I'd say unexcused.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, would you like to make a motion?
Make a motion to unexcuse Catmull's attendance record,
For,
May 30th. Today and today,
which is,
June 20th.
thank you. Councilor Pete Burbank.
I'd like to second that motion.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson made the motion. Councilor Pete Burbank seconded the motion to non-excuse Councilor Catmull's 2 absences. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Councilor P. Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Burbank, how do you vote? Aye. Thank you, council. Play shade for playground equipment. Do you want to move that to a work session or should we?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be moving our discussion for play shade.
If that's okay with the council.
Oh, that's okay with council.
Yes, that would be terrific.
Thank you. Stipend for EMS volunteers.
We have been around this one a little bit before, but it was involving the council and then the volunteers. And in order to get more volunteers, the idea was to offer free water to the people that are on the EMS system. The ones that are not on water or don't have water in their name, I don't know how you'd like to handle that, but it would be a start to try and get folks to sign up,
Incentive.
incentive.
Counselor Arbor, Bank.
So you're saying if you live in town and you're on EMS, you could do this, but if you're out of town and on EMS, why not give them the equivalent of what town people are getting,
As a credit.
their money savings?
I would agree with that, and I would also just limit it to the base rate.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And with this, hopefully it encourages people. I mean, we shouldn't have to offer a stipend, but a lot of other volunteer cities do offer stipend because the volunteers are volunteering their time to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night to do what they do for free. So I think it's a great opportunity, not only to give, as a city, give back to our volunteers for their dedication, but to, I hate to say encourage people, but it could possibly encourage people. With that being said, if you're on the council, you would not be able to receive the stipend if you were to become a volunteer. So just so you know, that will, you can still volunteer, you're just not gonna receive the stipend if it's passed by council. Councilor Pete Riverbend.
I'd like to make a motion to give the EMS volunteers a stipend of base water charges if they're living here in this city, and the equivalent if they're outside of the city.
Thank you.
I second that.
Councilor Arbor Riverbend.
I'm sorry. I second that.
Councilor Pete Riverbank made a motion, Councilor R. Riverbank has seconded the motion to give volunteers within the city base water rate as a condition of being the volunteer, and if you're outside of the city, you'll receive the base rate monthly. Open for discussion. No discussion. Pete Riverbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Riverbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council has approved the water base rate stipend for EMS volunteers. Thank you, council. Combination of water master maintenance and or maintenance to water operator job descriptions. As we all know, Terrell has given a resignation date for his water master job and water meter job, meter reader. Because it just gets too much for one person during the busy season. So with that, my thinking is we have 2 part-time positions and basically 1 full-time position. I would suggest possibly combining the maintenance 2 and water operator into 1 job. That way maintenance 1 position is allowed to do their job, focus on that portion. Because basically, we're not gonna get somebody to do a water master job for 20 hours a month. And also a maintenance 2 position for, what is it, yearly, 240 or something?
Yearly? I don't know yearly.
Whatever it is, there's a set amount of hours, I don't have it in front of me, so. That's what I would like to see done, but it's at council's discretion how they would want to move forward with the jobs.
Question.
Councilor Katie Ferguson.
So would that mean that Terrell remains on his maintenance 1 that he's doing now?
Yes.
Okay. And that would just be the maintenance 2 and, okay, I understand. Sorry. that's my question.
Madam Clerk.
Could you please restate that? Because I don't think I understood what you.
I was just clarifying that Terrell would fulfill the maintenance 1 position, and then the maintenance 2 would then include the water operator job as well.
Well, it depends how you structure the motion.
She
So,
was just asking a question to clarify.
I know, and so now I'm asking a question
Okay.
to understand, so you, under what circumstance are,
If we adopted this,
so those
it
are
would be
two
a-
options. There's two options there, combining the water master with the maintenance, combining the maintenance.
oh, I see what you're saying.
So it depends on which option.
Okay. So combining the water master and the maintenance, what does that mean for maintenance too?
It means nothing for maintenance too. So where it says and or, that's where it splits between the two options. You can combine the water with maintenance two, or you can combine it with maintenance one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Pete Burbank,
Make a motion that we combine the water master with maintenance 2 position.
that includes meter reader also. That's why it's just put down as water operator.
Correct.
Would you like to restate the motion?
But yes, sir, I'd like to make a motion to put water master and operator 2 with the meter reader position as well, correct?
So you want to combine maintenance 2 and water operator job? So that would allow maintenance 1 to just do maintenance 1. Maintenance
then-
2 would be.
Correct, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Could you just restate that because it was backwards and what you're,
That's the second half of the. Yeah.
So we want to combine
Yeah,
maintenance
yeah.
two and water.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to combine water master and maintenance 2 water operator jobs together.
Okay,
After they vote on that.
we don't have a thing. We can't have anything. We don't have it. We don't count. We don't count.
Motion is made. Is there going to be a second or?
I'll second it.
I'm sorry.
Remember, this is voting time.
Councilor R. Burbank.
I second the motion.
Thank you. A motion made by Councilor Pete Burbank, seconded by R. Burbank to combine the maintenance 2 position with water operator job description. Open for discussion.
We can.
No further discussion. Councilor Pete Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council is approved to the separation or combining maintenance 2 position with the water operator job, separating the water master from maintenance 1. So we have a maintenance 1 person, and then we will be, when we're able to hire for the maintenance 2 water master or water operator position. Performance review of employee.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Does that mean the maintenance 2 would be working on the spring up in the mountain instead of Terrell?
The
Because
maintenance
Terrell knows.
2, the maintenance 2 would become the water master also.
And so that means about the spring, right?
That means they would be in charge of the water.
Okay.
They can't go up there by themselves.
Right. Can't go up there by themselves, but there's other volunteers will be made available. Moving on, we have our performance review of employee. Carol, did you ever?
open meeting.
Okay.
You need to stay it.
There's no opinion. You didn't die.
I think they were.
Yeah. Open meeting, we don't have-
Is he gonna come sit up here?
I guess.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Arber,
I'm not gonna participate in this. I've just come on council. I'm not Carol's supervisor. I have no knowledge of what he's done or did or didn't do. So there's no way I can pass any kind of judgment on Carol.
Thanks, Warren.
Well, it's just, I have no knowledge. And if I did, it would be somebody said something.
So with that, we have no forum.
Oh.
So if you would like to table this for our next meeting,
You okay?
Oh, we can't do this.
right, because you only have two senior council.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You still have a quorum, you just, he's not voting.
And so you
He's
didn't
just
want,
not turning in a,
are you not turning in or you don't want to vote or participate in
No,
this?
I had nothing to turn in because I haven't been watching Carol all these years now that I've been gone. What can I comment on?
Are we allowed to put this to work session?
No,
No, that's what I'm saying.
no, but it is unfair for Terrell if he was due any sort of raise or whatever.
If we did table it and the raise was given to that position, then it could be backdated, right? Councilor Arber,
I'd like to make a motion that we table this till we have more members sitting at the table.
Would that be next meeting or just some?
That next meeting, if we have enough people here.
Next meeting is July.
I don't see why he table. He just doesn't want to put in a performance review. Doesn't mean he doesn't vote on anything.
he said he didn't want to vote. He can't give it any input on anything without having knowledge of your performance.
It is, I acknowledged it
Councilor
and,
Katie first.
sorry, I did acknowledge, I wrote in there that it is hard to, what I have to say is just based on the little that I do know, and so it is kind of hard to, I don't know, with only 3 of us here,
Yeah.
and 2 of us being new.
There's still a motion on.
There's a motion on the table by Arber Bank to table this for our July 20th meeting. No,
I think it'll be July 18th, I believe.
Councilor P. Riverbank,
I'll make a second on that motion, please.
motion made by Councilor R. Riverbank, and seconded by Councilor P. Riverbank to table the maintenance one performance review until our July meeting. Open for discussion. Not hearing any discussion. Councilor P. Riverbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
I,
Councilor R. Riverbank, how do you vote? Council has approved the going the performance evaluation of our maintenance one position for July meeting. You need to turn in.
The citizens are behind you, Carol. You just can't say anything. We're here.
We're behind you.
Moving forward, request reimbursement for hotel accommodation. Madam Clerk, is that for your professional development?
Is there an expectation on when the city's gonna see a return on this investment?
Councilor R. Riverbank.
Oh, you might need to bring me up to speed with this reimbursement.
As for the city clerk, she's got approved to attend the professional development week-long school in Tacoma, Washington. Council did approve that. Were you offered a scholarship for that, or?
I'm going, I had to attend before I can ask for a scholarship. So now that I just attended, I can ask for the scholarship.
I thought that we.
I'm sorry, it's a little hard to.
Excuse me, audience, it's hard for, especially with the owl and everybody up there, it's hard to concentrate. As we all know, I took a phone call. Councilor Katie Ferguson.
I'll make a motion to approve the $1,026.08.
Councilor Pete Burbank.
I'll second that, please.
Motion made by Councilor Katie Ferguson and seconded by Councilor Pete Burbank to approve reimbursement for hotel accommodation. Open for discussion. Madam Clerk.
You may want to table this item. Because the person making the motion is a employee.
Oh. I take back my motion.
Rescind it.
So
Rescind my motion.
would you like to make a motion to table this till the next meeting? Please.
Yes, I will make a motion to table the hotel accommodations until next meeting, July 18th.
Thank you. Councilor Pete Burbank.
I will second that.
Motion made by Councilor Katie Ferguson, seconded by Councilor Pete Burbank to table the action on the request for reimbursement till our July 18th meeting. Open for discussion. Not hearing any discussion, Councilor Pete Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Mara Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Approve office space for water master maintenance positions at City Hall. I feel that our maintenance, water master maintenance, 2 positions should have a central office of operations. That way they have a place where they can keep documents. Because as of right now, I don't, and me as mayor, I don't know where any documents are. But we are very limited in space of how we can accomplish giving office space for the water master and the maintenance. As we all know right now, we only have a maintenance 1 position, so, but in anticipation of getting somebody hired for the other position, they will be working together, they will be needing to share some sort of office space. And the only option that we have available right now until we figure out something else is to occupy the city hall office with a desk and a filing cabinet to where documents can be kept, workspace created for documents, records, things like that. There has been conversations of adding on to the EMS office or the City Hall EMS office. We've had conversations with moving into the old City Hall building across the street. We're trying to accommodate everybody without pushing people out. So I feel that the maintenance position, water master, all of those should have a place where they can store all their records. They have a place to do their paperwork. They're not doing it either in their vehicle or on the tailgate of a truck out here, something like that. That way records are not getting lost, they're not getting misplaced, they're not getting chewed on, waterlogged, things like that. And it's been quite apparent in the last year that we are way behind on our records. So that's why we're trying to have our records upkeep. So for the council, I don't know how you guys want to proceed with it. Mike, do you have something to
Yeah, I know this is not part of your normal protocol, but because it involves the EMS, and I didn't know anything about this till yesterday, so I would like to have a moment to just get the EMS side of it, if I could. Some suggestions were made that we would move into the fire department for our office, and I don't have a necessarily problem with that. The only part that was suggested to me that we would have our trainings down here, and that doesn't work well for us because the ambulance is there, all of our training materials are there, all of our records are there. And so it doesn't make sense for us to come down here to do our training, and then on top of that, we have to chase down a key because that's the only way to get in here, where now we have access. So I would ask that you let Glenn and I and Terrell or whoever you wait till the person who assumes that second position that you voted on, let us sit down together and see what we can work out that works for all of us, and then give it to you, and then you can vote on it and see, rather than trying to make a decision on that right now.
Second.
Go ahead, how many desks are in your office?
There's two.
Are both being used?
One of them right now is being occupied by that radio station that never came, so I'm in the process of getting hold of them, they're gonna come get that, so they're not gonna, use it, I'm not gonna be responsible for it. So there will be two desks that are just usable.
Okay, so take that into consideration if EMS would.
Can I make one more comment?
Yes.
I was talking to Mike yesterday, I told him that there was some discussion about this, and myself, I would be happy if, be more than happy if the sheriff's department decided to let the city have the city justice court back. I would be willing to give up that office for the sheriff's department and the state police to have their breathalyzer. And then we could just all move into the training room and the city hall would be back down here. And everybody would be happy. And the sheriff's department would be the only one that, and the city would be the only one that had a key to the office.
Right, that's ongoing discussion.
Yeah, I know.
It was just a quick discussion I had with, I haven't even spoke to the sheriff or justice of the peace or anything yet, so. We do need to do something though, to where the maintenance one position, they all have a place where things that are easily accessible, especially having two different people working together. That way nobody has to chase down somebody for some document or where is it? How is it?
May I say something?
Real quick, please.
That office or other office that is up there does not have a window and air conditioning. That needs to be addressed. Putting a window and air conditioning so the other office could be used.
Right, I think we had funding approved 2 years ago to put a window in there. Just good luck trying to get somebody to do it.
I got somebody.
Are they a licensed contractor? Or can they work under a
Yeah,
licensed contractor?
Yeah, his boss would speak on, yeah.
Okay. Counselor Pedro Bennett.
I'd like to make a motion for us to table this until our next July meeting, so that we can have some time in our work session to actually go ahead and nail this down. And I like Mike's idea, making sure that those that are gonna actually be using these spaces have the input that's necessary.
So are you tabling to the work session or to the meeting?
I'd like to table it to the meeting for us to actually do the vote on, but we can discuss this in work session so that we can get it nailed down. So when we go to the next meeting, we will have all of the discussions out of the way. Then we can actually come to a vote. Hopefully Mike and the rest of Glenn and Terrell and the rest will be able to coincide and come together with a plan, or at least I need this space, I need that space, I need a desk, this is, maybe they can nail that down for themselves a little bit closer, and then we'll have more information from them, the people that actually do that.
Okay, so. That was a very long. Can you just concisely make your motion for what you would like to?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion for us to table this for the vote for the July meeting, but the discussion to actually happen in our worst session.
Thank you.
I'm
Counselor-
curious here.
Councilor.
How can we have a discussion in a work session when we're letting these folks, figure it out? Are they gonna have it all figured out when we have a work session, which is gonna be
When's
a
our
lot
work,
quicker?
when's our work session? everybody?
There's still not a second on the motion.
Oh, sorry. Councilor Katie Ferguson.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Piper Revent, second by Councilor Katie Ferguson to move this to our work session and then to our next council meeting for a vote. Open for discussion.
My kid is hand up.
Mike, do you have any time frame where you might be able to meet with?
Well, give us at least a week or two and, and tell us when the work session is and we'll make it happen.
I believe the work session is
July 5th.
July 5th.
I haven't seen a reason, either of you, any reason why we can't meet next week and with this,
I don't see any reason why we can't.
we'll have something. Like that.
Thank you, Mike, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Art Riverbank, if you get a hold of whoever you think could put in that window, that would be great. In the off chance that we do occupy across the street, the sheriff's department does have funding to rearrange the office up there with a different door setup, things like that,
Which doesn't need a window.
which doesn't need a window because they were gonna put in a glass door. Thank you, council.
It's not voted on.
Oh, sorry. Motion made by Councilor P. Riverbank, seconded by Councilor Katie Ferguson to table this item for a work session and then to a vote in our joint meeting. Any further discussion? Councilor P. Riverbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Riverbank, how do you vote?
All right.
Thank you, council. New business. Are you all caught up? Madam Clerk? Or moving on fast. Cash knife easement contract. Then we had our water leak up on Hash Knife. There was a discussion involving, I believe Pat Farrell, tell me, or there too, Richard.
It was a result of the report.
Result of the report given by Pat Farrell. I think we need to address well, Madam Clerk, you were in the conversation.
So I forwarded you guys the contract, the report, which was in here. Also had a section about other considerations and which prompted me to get a hold of the attorney to see if in fact we did need a new contract with Hash Knife. And we do not. The easement will follow from person to person. What the attorney did not like is that there's a lot of grantor grantee discussion rather than what the land does and does not do. And he's happy to rewrite that if you feel it needs to be, because a lot of it discusses the water diverting to the particular patch of grass and to the trough, rather than what our role and responsibility is in that easement.
When was that contract drawn up?
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
And Councilor Katie Ferguson, you may not be aware, but the reason why this is because one of the part owners is no longer a part owner, so. The part owner that is no longer part owner was acting as a manager also.
Okay.
So we knew who to go to and talk to, and right now we're kind of, we do have a contact point person, but the former owner is named in the contract, quite a few sponsors.
Right, but that's not the deciding factor. It is fine the way it is. It's just not worded how the attorney would prefer it to be worded. So grantor and grantee being the person, us and them and us and them, instead of what our role is in the easement.
But Jared is happy with it?
He
Or
said,
he's
you
fine
know,
with-
it doesn't have to be redone because of the sale, the buyout of the previous owner. So it doesn't have to be done for that reason. If you were to redo the contract, it would be based off of the wording itself isn't.
Okay.
Has anyone spoken with the people that are on the contract in regards to the possibility of them being interested in wanting to have this revised or
I did,
rewritten for
I
the
did not.
city or?
because I wanted to see what the council wanted to do, because there's no point in having that conversation if you guys aren't interested.
There's,
Council Arbor, the bank.
is there a reason why you feel the contract needs to be reread? Thinking about it.
It is, like I was saying about the water that goes to the troughs and that sort of thing, it doesn't, in emergency situations, what is our role? Or, I think that if you would like to ask more questions, I could ask Jared to provide a couple of highlights of what he would consider important to change, and then you maybe I can forward you the email. And if you would like to table the item, I just didn't want it to go without it being noticed.
Well, yeah, I maybe you'd like to hear from the attorney because that's our water line there. You don't want to PO the people that we need something from. Is it true? I heard that they was a little unhappy how the repair went and too many cars. Fuel got beat down or something.
I did not hear that. That was in the report. I did speak with the ranch manager's wife myself prior to anybody stepping foot.
Council Pedro, the bank.
I think that would be a good idea. It's been 22 years since the contract was developed and signed. As we move forward with our records, making sure that we're all correct and right on things, I think that it would be a good idea to go ahead and talk with Jared about that and ask him for a few pointers on that, yes.
Could we need a motion for
I would prefer.
Council Arbor, the bank.
I make a motion that we table this easement contract discussion until we've heard from the attorney and have a better understanding of what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Council Pedro, the bank.
I'll second that motion.
Motion is made by Council Arbor, the bank, seconded by Council Pedro, the bank, to table easement contract till we get more input from our city attorney. Open for discussion. Hearing no discussion, Councilor Pete Riverbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Caleb Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Arbor Riverbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council is approved to table this until we get more input from our attorney. Noise control variance.
The Repeated Hills Festival. Mayor.
Councilor Pete Burger.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to make a motion for us to accept the noise control variance as presented for the Painted Hills Festival on September 2nd, 2023.
Councilor R. Burbank.
I second it.
Motion made by Councilor Pete Burbank, seconded by Councilor R. Burbank to approve the noise control variance for the festival. Open for discussion. Hearing no discussion, Councilor Pete Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Council has approved the variance. Ron, you were asked to leave the meeting
You speak.
and now you're back in attendance.
I heard there was a recess. I was hungry. In fact, I enjoyed the recess.
I would like to ask you to leave one more time, Ron. because
Oh,
you're
please.
Being
Hey,
disruptive.
there's paratroopers out there. They for me? National Guard. Doesn't bother me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I got the truth on my side. I don't fear anything. I should say,
We're moving forward.
the
we're on
truth
new
is on our
business.
side. I don't know if they'll back me on it, but I ain't worried about it.
Debit card for ambulance director.
Yes, so in effort to limit the amount of checks being sent to Mr. Carroll for things like pharmacy and other online items, it would make, it's not clear that there's one particular vendor that is where we can purchase all things that are cheap. And so for him to be able to purchase those things with the debit card would make the amount of checks that I'm reimbursing him, and he shouldn't have to pay with his own money anyway for anything. So I would like to open up an account where we could maybe purchase most of the things, get invoiced and that, but then also debit card for things like paying for the ambulance license and other things that he's responsible for, so.
Yeah.
There's.
Madam President.
I'd like to make a motion to request for a debit card for Mike Carroll, the ambulance director.
Second that motion.
Can we proceed without the mayor?
Motion was made to request a debit card for the ambulance director, Mike Carroll, seconded by Kaylee Ferguson. Discussion.
Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, Councilor Pete Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Council has approved debit card for purchases for our ambulance. Approved Oregon City / County Management Association Conference action.
So I actually put it under announcements and it was kind of a little bit forward, but this is the city managers conference and I would like to attend that. And I did receive a scholarship for it.
And it is,
From the 19th through the 21st.
You got it. Oh, yeah. That intern. thing messes me up.
Councilor Pete Burbank, how do you vote?
Vote.
Oh, sorry.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
too
sir.
much going on.
Yep, yep. I'd
Councilor
like,
Peter Burbank,
I'd like to make a motion to approve Krista going to the Oregon City County Management Association Conference
thank you.
that will be July 17th through 21st. Oh, pardon me, July 19th through 21st, 2023.
Councilor R. Burbank,
I'll second the motion.
motion made by Councilor Pete Burbank, seconded by Councilor R. Burbank to allow the clerk to attend the Managers Association meeting. Open for discussion. Hearing no discussion, Councilor Pete Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Burbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Mayor to appoint a park committee. We have,
What I was hoping is maybe we could just list it like we do open positions and things like that. Maybe put it in the water bill. There's a, park
community members involved.
community members involved. If that's okay with everybody else.
Yeah.
We need a motion or just,
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because you're not appointing anyone.
moving forward. Restroom funding. Lower hours allocated for clean discussion, possible action. I mean,
I was asked to put this on the agenda by Councilor Silverban.
Councilor Burbank,
P verbal.
P. Burbank, sorry.
Yes. I think that things need to be lowered there to go ahead and decrease our costs. I think that the state only cleans the restrooms up at the top of the hill once a day and make sure that all their supplies are ready to go. Especially in the wintertime with our park being utilized little, but still having to maintain it being open for the people mover going through, for people to be able to use that. That was my thought.
So is your concern,
Cost for the city, cost
how
for the
much it's
city.
costing us
Yes,
for the
yes.
people in our bathroom?
Right, right. We're all supposed to be trying to curtail things like that. I also thought that with the restrooms down there, there might be a possibility to do just like the state has done, where they have copious amounts of gravel around in the area for people that if they're not on the walking path, they can at least walk on the gravel so that their shoes will not be maintaining a huge amount of mud or anything as they go into the restroom. That's just my thoughts on it, as we're all trying to trim down where we can.
Councilor R. Burbank,
Krista, do you know off the top of your head how much it costs to operate the parties a year?
I'm sorry, it's really distracting me back here.
I don't know.
We spend about 900, not including supplies, not including maintenance. That's just to pay to have it cleaned. Roughly, it obviously is less in winter, more in summer, but that's at the average. I did include in your reports the RV spots have gone up. Over the last couple of years, we've increased the amount that we're renting. The amount of donations has gone down. Terrell just finished painting the restroom side that's closed in order to hopefully help make that feel a little bit nicer and worthy of donations, and also putting up signage. We just got those in today. So there'll be a sign that reads, this restroom is only possible with your donations, and then where to place your donations. So hopefully that will help as well. But the donations over the last couple of 2 to 3 years have been going down.
So how much was that?
900.
Oh,
Just to pay
yeah.
Supplies.
to clean them.
Maintenance.
A month,
A month?
a month.
Not 900.
That's the year, whoa. That's the year, and you didn't get the answer.
What?
I asked how much it costs a year. You said
Oh, a year.
$900 a month?
Carol, how many hours did it take for you to come back?
Usually if it's not busy, it's only 2 hours a day during the summer and 1 hour a day during the winter, because I am only cleaning one, and that's twice a day.
So it's 4 hours a day from.
No, usually it's 2 hours a day during the summer when it's busy. It's usually 2 hours a day, except for like around Painted Hills Festival, Labor Day. Anything big like that, I gotta check or make it.
So what you're saying is it's 2 hours twice a day, or 1 hour twice a day equals 2 hours?
It's 2 hours a day,
For
1 hour
for two
in
cleanings.
the morning and 1 hour at night. And in the summer, it's only an hour, or in the winter, it's only 30 minutes in the morning. Well, I do check it periodically throughout the day, but that doesn't go on my time. Usually if I walk in and it's good, I don't have to do anything. But for cleaning purposes, it's 1 hour during the winter per day and 2 hours during the summer per day.
So. Councilor Pete Burger back.
I have a question to ask of you, Terrell. And because I don't know, that's why I'm asking the question. Is there a difference in the way that the state cleans as opposed to how, I mean, I just,
There is. What do you want me to do? Take 15 minutes to clean the bathroom, or maybe give me 15 to 30 minutes to try to clean both of them and only be able to clean them half-assed?
I do think there's a lot more cost savings than cleaning up the toilet.
Excuse me.
If you don't clear it, you might as well close.
Yeah,
That's right.
we're gonna start losing good reviews on them restrooms if they're not cleaned the way they are right now. If I don't clean them at least twice a day, the rest of the gonna start.
Okay, well, there's brought up by Councilor Burger back about how much we were spending on to clean the bathroom and
Well, you might as well close your RV place too, because if that bathroom's not free to clean one, there ain't nobody gonna stay there.
So far this month, the restroom and the RV, well, restroom and camping for 20 days was $676. Is what it brought in so far this month.
So it almost pays for itself.
excuse me. Thank you. So does council, how does council want to proceed with this? No further action, or just?
This was never an issue until you got to office. He's a good man. He's a good man.
Ron?
We all like, no, I'm not intimidated by your rules and regulations. No.
Council, you
I've
want
had
to
enough.
recess?
call the National Guard,
I'll make a
call
motion
the
to recess.
paratroopers, call
I'll
who you
second
want,
that.
Motion
We
made by
had a
Katie
forensic
Ferguson, second by
okay?
Counselor
And
Pete
you guys are
Robertson.
throwing out because you're
Recess.
criminals. You
Council,
see
all in
how disgusting
favor?
it
can't
is.
even hear what the motion is.
You're criminals.
Motion is made
You
by.
can't
Katie
stand up to a
Ferguson.
forensic audit. And when
Go
you're gone,
into
these people
recess.
stay. It's not even an issue.
Pete
So if you
Robertson.
can't and get the forensic audit, they're out of the box. All they're doing with their passivity is buying you guys time. You don't belong in office. If you had nothing to hide, you say, here, we'll have a forensic audit. See how they go? They go. We don't go. Who cares?
I don't want to listen to this.
Go on. Oh. Hey, when I be arrested.
Are you threatening me?
No, I said, I'm not gonna be arrested. No,
What are you doing? Come on.
I'm not tapped. I don't like the government and they're not gonna intimidate us. You don't know what's been going on in this city,
I don't
sir.
see anybody intimidating you. I see you ranting and raving.
No, they
I don't
are,
wanna
they are,
listen.
Mike, they are.
Ranting and raving.
So I agree.
You're not gonna do any good to rant and rave. That doesn't-
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Oh, as a peaceful protest, get it done. They burn cities and call it peaceful protest. They drag people out of trucks, they kill people, and it's peaceful. You're all nuts, I ain't. I'm not gonna apologize for what I did. All you gotta do is get a forensic audit. If you don't get the forensic audit, you go through this, it buys them time. All you do is keep making them walk out, because they ain't the government, they're criminals. You get the forensic audit. Let's suppose it
Oh,
costs
she
ten
turned off
thousand.
recording.
Yeah.
Who cares? Say a CPA, oh, I just said, now the idiots here. Say, for instance, we're the government. Say, for instance, the forensic audit costs $10,000. Okay, and there's 100 people in the city. You mean to tell me we can't come up with $100 a piece and whatever? Lawyers are lawyers. If you study the history of lawyers, go on. True story. No, all right, I can walk, I can talk, I can do whatever you want. Y'all see, okay, I'm gonna drive this all on. I'll be the last one standing. Go on.
Stop it.
I'm in the right. I'll settle down when we win.
Okay, stop it. Right now, while we're doing is getting people that believe in the same thing we do, we all believe the same thing, they're leaving.
Too fast.
No, we're not. Stop. Bye, Dan.
Yeah, you guys get by your hand.
Okay, you guys, I'm sorry, but Ron ruins it for everybody.
Oh, I'm so terrible.
Yeah.
I'm such a bad man. They're gonna lose. They're too passive. They're wrong, they're wrong. You win, they lose. It's the only way you get it done. That's the way it's always worked. We got the truth. We either got the truth on our side or not. Man's law, there's only one law. Ah, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, you're making it where when we say we don't want the ordinance 201 written the way it is, all those people just left.
What is it you don't understand about, you need a forensic audit to get them out before they're cemented in there. They're gonna be cemented. They're gonna be hard to get out. You prove they're criminals and we don't have to go through this. They're either criminals or they're not. They keep backing you into a corner, you just keep giving up, you keep saying no. In the meantime, everybody believes in their heart they stole. So you just give it, you get the police involved, you get the governor involved, you get media involved. You put them on the thing, they say, why ain't you giving these people a forensic audit? They go, because if they have to come up with a forensic audit, they're gonna lose. You either believe that or not. You either know they're wrong or not. Once they're proven they're criminals, they're out of the government, and you just, Terrell stays, he stays. Gabe doesn't have, he gets his thing, they're not kicking the people out of the parks. This has been going on for months, and you know something? And Luana likes you. Or you and there's one other guy, I forget who the hell it was, Terry and whatever. Luana said, I thought they were gonna fire him. I thought they were gonna fire him. I thought they were gonna fire him. And then you just got in here like deer in the headlights, and you could have had him fired months ago. And make them get on the defensive because you didn't do anything wrong. So you come in and say, well, you fired the clerk. That's not a crime. And then you say, well, we had to fire her.
The cop
but she's-
said, the cop told him this, that she wasn't allowed to talk. The cop told her she was not allowed to talk.
That's her
When she
passive.
was a counselor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all bullshit.
She made a motion to go into executive session under legal merit, and he said, you're illegal. And Krista started smiling and laughing.
And the cop was 100% wrong.
Gerald.
Cameron,
The cop was 100% wrong.
Yeah, and we pointed that out, and I let him know for the
It's
meeting.
all willpower.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just give you.
okay, doesn't that, wait, let's stop. Okay, doesn't that count? That is not in the new budget. By the way, the budget has not been, was approved by the budget committee, but not approved by council. It starts July 1st, okay? That budget has not been put in front of council, okay? It should have been done this meeting.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done, okay, I know
Right, and
that.
last year they coerced you guys into voting one.
I wasn't here for that meeting.
Okay, but they
Okay,
did.
on purpose, okay, but they deleted a fund that's no longer in the new budget. Where did that money go?
Listen,
They didn't acquisition the money to another fund? Just FYI.
okay, let me just give you a few examples of municipal. Different times in history, okay, the death penalty is on, it's off. Different times in history, the prosecutors have their closing argument, or it goes back to their.
I don't have it, I've never.
Okay, all of this stuff goes back and forth. Man is unstable. There's only one truth,
Can you say?
one.
Is that-
There's no going off the record. We're always on the record. There's no manipulating the rules. Well, today we'll obey the rules, tomorrow we'll break them. You either feel you're right, and you are the creator and the truth is the majority. There's 500,000 people that ticket you. They won't kill you. But we're in the right.
The problem is nobody wants to step up to be mayor.
Yes, there are a few people. I know a lot of people don't like Glenn, but there are other people that are willing to step this next time.
You three. You
Okay,
say you hung down.
we're gonna get this going again. I think, buddy.
Yeah, we lost a lot of people against the camping, huh?
That means nothing. If you get a forensic, it comes back up.
Good, stop.
I'm going over these.
No, you're not.
Even the National Guard, and you know.
Oh,
what?
stop it, for goodness sake.
You're gonna lose the way I've been.
Stop it right now. I'm not going, no,
I respect you.
You've
You're
been-
making a mistake.
no, you are
Go ahead,
right now.
slap my face, you're making a
I
mistake.
don't do that anymore.
Okay, you're making a mistake.
No, we're not. We are handling things. We are upset. We're
Yeah,
doing
but
things,
how come it's
but
months
not
and months, how come they were supposed to be fired? She should have been gone months ago, and she got punked out.
Ron.
What's done is done.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We just need to step forward, not that. And that's what we're doing.
Forward, they keep telling you you're wrong, you're bad, you're doing something wrong, and then they get cops.
We would like to have everybody back in here so we can get things done.
Good, but I'll tell you what, I've been in this a million times, they will fold. As soon as somebody comes and says, behave, and they're gonna look at jail, they're gonna fold like wet noodles, I've been through this all my life.
We're not.
Oh. I hope I'm mistaken.
You are
It'll be the
mistaken because
first-
I will not
Okay,
vote.
how do you intend to get a forensic audit?
We started it when we was on the council. We tried it. We're not
You
done.
tried it.
We're not done. We just weren't
You're
done.
going through the system that shot down that great letter that the young kid that Alex wrote. All of these people that are higher up, they don't have to live under these three clowns. We do. The lawyers are liars. They're all in a power play. We gotta tell them, hey, we want this city to have moral and ethical people in there and fight for it.
We will, it will be. This used, you know, about the same thing happened many years ago to this town.
Lady just walked away though with $30,000.
From where?
Here,
Yeah.
Who did?
the clerk
Oh,
paid her house off and left.
The old one.
Kristen is a thief. And as far as what he said, there's people that when I met in 2017, told me the same thing before I even met him.
yeah, everybody. It's looking forever, knows everything.
The point of it is, okay, I didn't do anything wrong in my creating.
I don't like how they're, and Ron, not to interrupt you, but this is bullshit how they're running meetings. They got people in here that can make decisions like Mike. And they've been the rules. Why don't they just, why can't they just run it the way they used to? Get a frickin' guy that can kick out people like Ron that are out of control. No offense, Ron, but seriously, they need a sentinel or somebody to do that.
But the thing is,
We're not on the.
Every time, fine, if you think I'm out of control.
No, you know what I'm saying, though. I know they run a meeting like they should run.
They interrupt when they want. They said, look at how it went from 4 minutes to 2 minutes. What do you think it's gonna be, a minute, 60
It's gonna
seconds?
be zero. They're not gonna let you get it.
that and the fact that, 7 times, the mayor says, what does council want to do?
Never a
What are the
citizen.
citizens? Never the citizens.
Exactly.
Now he's been out of town, we can't discuss items as are presented on the agenda.
They're just doing a power.
You know, 90% of these people do not want that camping. Unless they change the word,
Yeah,
No.
yeah. They got-
and they're gonna pass it now. To those people left, they're gonna pass it.
You get them out of office, you change it back.
Can you go, so these people can, who want to come back?
Can't you just
come
get a
back.
petition?
It's not going on already.
For the forensic audit, can't everybody that in the city, there shouldn't be any problem, get the voters to do that. That's how you get people to answer.
You're not a bad guy, we understand you, but you get carried away.
I get carried away because there's only 2
Nothing
members.
gets done unless people like Ron stand up.
That's
because
right, and wake
The thing
people
is,
up.
we need a petition.
Yeah.
He's saying we need a forensic audit. We just need a petition.
That's it. You just keep looking.
We can do that.
You wanna see, you wanna see,
We got other.
All you have to
you
do-
wanna see how I behave,
One is a recall.
Uh-huh,
a chance.
yeah, we got things.
I behave, look. A chance. You want a friend, this is the thing, that's not breaking the law, and you just disrupt it without me being misbehaving. And you gotta call attention and get, you can't be talking about this for months, times on this, we gotta get
Is
that.
she not
figured out.
recording it, or is she recording it?
This is recording it.
We got, I don't care, we gotta get a forensic audit. Yeah, you recording? Hey, Yahweh told me, he wants a forensic audit. That's the guy.
Yeah, wait, yeah.
But, no, just as, state, judicial department. So, you know, we get a petition up. The city, if the citizens sign it, send it to the state judicial department, there will be a forensic audit.
Okay, yeah, hypothetically, just hypothetically. Okay? What if they shot it down? What would you do?
If we get a petition and we send it to the state,
Do it
they're not
again.
gonna turn it down.
I said hypothetically.
Do it again,
Do it again,
and again.
and again, and again.
Okay, at least that's a correct answer. Yeah.
I've been too old working in man's worlds, in men's
I
jobs to say
survived, I'm not
again.
blaming, I get it. Look, I know you're really big city, I survived Cleveland, they're bullshit. This is bullshit here on a smaller scale, and we can lose the same way the good citizens lose in the big shit.
Will we
So
file?
become a little shit.
Yeah, okay, and watch, because they're not recording this, they're gonna take all this information, they're gonna wanna have a special meeting. Probably no public comment,
Go ahead.
to pass this budget to council, the budget's from council, the budget's from, you're gonna have them go up, have not to council.
If I'm not
I think I'm
mistaken,
not sure,
if I'm not mistaken, recording what we're saying with them being gone and it's shut down is illegal.
yes, this is totally illegal.
Yeah, but you know who knows we're having this conversation? Our creator, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
There's nothing, I don't care what they're recording,
They'll
nothing
have, they'll
else.
have a meeting to take.
They're in the wrong. I'll never disrespect you, I know you're trying to help.
Oh, we'll take it. I'm fine. I've worked too hard in other jobs. I'm fine. Kill 'em. Okay. So is Delene okay? Huh. I think that's been a couple days since I've
Do you mind if I walk down towards your house?
seen her.
See you down there.
I'm handing these out there, Betty, because you hand out the store.
I love
Yeah, I want you down there. Expecting where your head is. Yeah, I am.
Hand this out down the store.
Thank you. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, and family members bring their kids in, they go, oh, my kids need to read this, we're gonna take more.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good time to start.
Hey, Jake, ain't seen you in a while.
Yeah, how you been, Ron?
Oh. Recovering. Been a little over a year. We just had a. Send out here.
They're passing anyway, because we have no public comment. So
Okay.
they're passing, we have no one.
I realize
Well,
Shut down for
we'll speak up.
Yeah.
trying to get nothing,
Oh, we can.
outside, got up
What?
and doing yard work, trying to catch up.
We don't have public comment.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's what we did last time.
It took a while.
Yeah, but it would have been 9 people right now.
Get out.
How's it going on with your, property? But that greenhouse, we just.
Not yet.
I was a lot of work trying to plan for it, so.
Okay, our meeting is back in session.
So it's been recording all the time you guys are gone?
Yep.
Illegally?
It's for a
Yeah,
reason.
because we wasn't during the meeting. I got this really one out the stores and I got.
Oh, okay,
And
there's just
everybody said
two-
it just didn't go.
Oh, I thought she
Yeah.
had one on her
Yeah.
side, I'm sorry.
And I gave my daughter, yeah, and it says, it's a constitution, that we hand them out off to everybody.
Oh,
I got one of those.
You can travel around on one side, that's the rest of.
Councilor Pete Verba Bennett, we're back in session, please.
Okay. Oh, it's been days.
Okay, prior, can we, that's a change to the agenda prior to the reading of the ordinance. And part of that work to do. Because the gentleman from Monument,
I'm sorry, were we done with the restroom conversation?
oh, no, I don't know.
No,
So in the packet was what we have been bringing in and for RV camping, you can see at the top the different years, 19 to 20, 20 to 21, 21 to 22, 22 to 23. So it has gotten roughly almost $2,000 increase since 19, the last 4 years.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find. like, this-
It'll be-
Oh, I
yeah.
see.
Towards the back.
Right after the noise variance.
You can see the donations as well, 20 and 21. And then
Oh,
22, 23. So the donations have decreased from 2,200 to, sorry, 1920 to 1,100, so 50% decrease in donations.
Councilor Pete Verba Bennett.
Do you think that there will be an increase in donations with the new signage that's put out there?
I would say since it's been brought to our attention, let's revisit it maybe in a month or two and see where things are at. I'm thinking a sign will help. I know for me personally, if I go to a porta potty, say, and it says, you know, like if it's at a coffee place, you know, and it says, you know, please patron the coffee shop or whatever, that makes me conscious of making sure that I do that if they're the ones that are, you know, providing a place for me to use the facility, so.
So there is, prior to the new signage, there was no signage for the box. It just looked like a box hanging on the wall.
Yeah, so you would,
The little
Oh, really?
donation deal about like that big on the box.
And now,
So-
the sign said, is this big that says this restroom is possible with your donations, and then also donations here about.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think council discretion, give it a 2 months or so
Yeah.
and revisit that because that should draw
Especially in the summer months.
Yeah.
bigger,
Yeah.
more donations possibly.
So would you like to table this or?
Yeah, allow for a couple months, I think.
Would you like to make a
Oh, sorry.
motion, Councilor Katie Ferguson?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to table this for a couple of months to see the effects of the new signage at the restroom.
Councilor Arver Bavand.
I'll second that.
Councilor Katie Ferguson made a motion, Councilor Arver Bavand second motion to table this discussion for a couple of months. Madam Clerk.
I would just ask that when somebody is interested, that you just shoot me an email or a phone call saying, put it back on the agenda, because unless you ask for it, it will just stay off.
Okay.
Open for discussion.
That's what I was raising my hand for
I know. I just-
discussion.
Oh, been a long day. Councilor Arver Bavand. Wait a minute, P. Verba
I was ready to vote, sir.
Oh, hearing no further discussion, Councilor P. Verba, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor R. Verba, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, council. So moving forward, what do we have on for changes on the agenda, the fire department?
We have resolution 2310.
We need to read that out loud.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Resolution 2310, resolution appropriating fire department reserve and association funds to the fire department fund. Whereas City of Mitchell City Council desires to create a zero balance in the fire department fund for fiscal year 22-23, and whereas the fire department has not billed outside the response area for services rendered, whereas the fire department continues to incur costs, and whereas starting fiscal year 22-23, the budget committee and council appropriated property taxes to the fire department and 10% to the fire reserve, fire association, and charges for service. And whereas the department as of June 23 is negative $2,254.03. Whereas the property taxes have been transferred to the fire department, fire reserve, and association. And whereas the transfer of $1,553.20 from the fire department association and $700.83 from the fire department reserve is needed to bring the fire department fund to a zero balance. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Mitchell, Oregon. Property tax appropriations were made to the fund, the fire department in fiscal year 22-23 budget. The fire chief agreed to bill customers outside city limits under the contract with Jefferson County EMS for fiscal year 22-23 annual budget. The transfer of 10% of property taxes has been dispersed to the fire department reserves and fire department association. The fire department association has $1,553.20 available, and the fire department reserves have $6,781.20 available. Billing has not been done. The city's reserve shall not be depleted where possible. Hasn't been passed, so I don't do that.
So that the 1553.20 has not been transferred to the association account,
I have not cut a check
being held in
trust.
trust.
At the end of the fiscal year, the association money that I have accumulated will then be sent to the ambulance association director and fire chief if there is a balance.
So just to clarify,
Councilor Katie
sorry.
Ferguson.
So we're just gonna pull the money needed from the association and the reserve to supplement the negative balance.
That's my proposal.
Okay,
Because we can't move forward with a negative balance.
right, on the budget.
Councilor Katie Ferguson,
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2310.
thank you. Councilor Peter Overbank,
I'll second that motion.
motion made by Councilor Katie Ferguson. Seconded by Councilor Peter Overbank to approve resolution 23-10. Open for discussion. Councilor Arthur Overbank.
So this money that's being shifted from one place to another, how does that affect the fire department? I mean, this money that you're talking about, is it
It's
money towards their operation or?
The so they've had, I think we looked at it earlier, roughly $7,000 that has moved through that account, and the budget prior to us creating their own fund, they were given $1,500 for a line item. We increased that to a predictable 14,000 with billing being done, and then the reserves, the 10% of the reserves from the property taxes were going to the association and to the reserve. And so the money, how it affects the fire department,
How does it cause them any harm?
it depends on whose perspective you're looking at.
it's the solution to them being negative to $2,000 because they're negative. They're the money coming from the fire department's reserve and association would what's the word? Resolve the negative balance. Yeah.
I proposed the lesser out of the reserves because that is available for emergency situations where if you needed to have a repair or things like that. So I took the lesser amount out of the reserve and more amount out of the association, being that association money is typically used for things like fundraisers and other items. So
But that 1,500 is money that's being held.
it's
They
held.
have not,
They have not been received a check.
so it's not directly affecting their association fund that they keep.
So you're saying it has no negative effect on our fire department?
No, it allows them to have a zero balance, and hopefully it will prompt them to bill accordingly to bring in money. Any further discussion? Councilor Pete Verbank, how you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson, how you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Art Verbank, how you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 2310 has been passed.
As far as the fire department, I kind of feel uneasy about them having no money. Have zero funds. You know, my house is, even though it's right down from his, the fire thing's right there. But if they have zero funds, how are they supposed to buy anything right now? If they have to do anything. Starting at zero sucks.
Well, it's better than starting.
Better than
negative.
negative 2,000.
You have the option of thinking, wait a minute, that's about the same, isn't it?
The idea is to generate billing for outside city calls. There's been, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 calls that could have been billed for. Which have not been billed for.
Do they know?
The fire chief was asked to present a budget. They did not present a budget. So we have to do this so we can start at a zero balance. Hopefully it encourages billing to be done. Moving forward.
We have the presentation or discussion by Kevin Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell, how ironic.
Boy, he sat through everything.
So I was on the fire chief in the morning, and
Mitchell received the fire truck from Goldendale as well. I did too. And our issue is it is too long for our day. And it's an automatic, so it would help out Mitchell for everybody wanting to go to manual, so kind of thing. And the one here would fit in our day.
So you're proposing to trade?
Just trade straight across, they both came from Goldendale, it would just be a straight trade across. They're both 1,000-gallon water tanks. The one that we have has a deck gun on it, holds 6 people instead of 2.
How old are they? Same age? comparable?
So the one we have is a little newer, it's a 91 crew cap.
And the one that you're potentially swap for is an 85.
There's a little paper right there. Yep.
And it's only got, one we got, so we got, I don't know how many miles you guys have, but has, or this one has 26,974 miles, and 2,700 hours, so not a whole lot of hours.
Yeah, maintenance records on this, by
Goldendale said they were gonna send them with me, they sent me a box. I haven't gone through the box yet, but, they keep, I went to their fire department and they keep really good maintenance on all their stuff that they have. They were a full-time mechanic.
They do a really good job. I went to the fire department as well, and I got the one we got, and it was.
Are you sure this will fit in the bay?
Yeah, see, this one is about this much to fit, not fitting in our bay, and our bay is 28 and a half feet. And your guys' bay is quite a bit, quite a bit.
Yeah, the yellow truck we have is 33 feet, and it fits in there. With room to spare.
And there's the one we have has SCBA seats as well, to hold air packs and stuff like that.
Does this require action?
Yes.
The council needs to approve, swapping of vehicles. Councilor Katie Ferguson.
I make a motion to approve the,
How do you feel about it, Lynn?
I'm all for it. I've talked to the chief, Mitchell, for a couple, 2 or 3 times, and 4 or 5 times actually about it.
that's okay. I make a
It's
motion,
a really good deal for it.
make a motion to, oh, sorry.
Madam Clerk.
When I talked to the fire chief earlier, we had discussed the possibility of maybe getting rid of 2 of the fire trucks that we have now and getting one good one, this being the good one. It costs us about $1,200 a year for insurance alone on one vehicle. I know it's not a lot, but considering that the department is needing to scrape where we can.
The only thing is after we had that discussion, I'm thinking about it a little bit, if we get 3 more people, that'll be fine, but if we get 6 more people or 7 more people on our department, then, but every person would count on a house fire, every person counts. I mean, we've seen what happened up there with 3 people. It might be beneficial to go ahead and keep the yellow one.
And I'm not kind of sure, so the reason we were trying to get a new truck ourselves is we have one structure truck right now, it's only 500 gallons, and we have a water issue. So us to get another one that's 1,000 gallons too helps us out, to have more than one, depending on your tank size.
We'd have 2,000 gallons of water available right off the bat when we get there, instead of 1,000.
You want it out those as fast as you can, how long is that 1,000 gallons last?
Well, about probably about a minute and a half.
So
Well, we hook up the hydrant. We hook up the hydrant.
basically, right now, we're trying to get the truck swapped, if possible. Councilor Katie Ferguson.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the fire truck swap.
As,
Councilor Arthur Durant.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Councilor Katie Ferguson made a motion. Councilor Arthur Durant seconded motion to approve the swapping of fire trucks. Open for discussion. Not hearing any discussion. Councilor P. Verbank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilor Arthur Durant.
All right.
Council is approved of swapping of bridge.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, does that air condition?
You know, I actually didn't try it, because when I picked it up, it was still.
But it's got a switch that says exit.
Nice.
And if, yeah.
I don't think ours does. Just kidding.
There, that's about 5%. Sorry.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Anything more,
Yeah, the fire chief would like to request a laptop
oh, for,
for the fire department, for him. In the purchasing of the council laptops, we did not purchase one for the ambulance or for the fire department. It didn't seem like they were using them, wasn't using emails, wasn't, but today apparently we are.
Yeah, I think he should be on the same boat as us. No, you know.
Right, we're billing.
so billing's done outside. So, I guess,
So it would be roughly $550.
Is that, would that also include the case and the protection
case-
and
Well, I got 10 individual items with the virus protection.
Mhm.
So the first 10 that get it, will get it, and then if we need to get more, the 550 will cover the case roughly. It depends on, I haven't looked at prices because this was just brought to me a little bit ago, so
Yeah, yeah.
as far as I know, that was the last price. They were about 500 and the cases were about 25, and I want to say there was one more. Oh, another Microsoft.
Right.
What do they do their trainings on now?
The laptop.
They're,
They hook up projector up to a laptop and play videos, and so that was the other thing is that the Chromebook not working very well, not able to play training videos.
would eliminate.
Counselor
communication.
P. Verbevan.
Oh,
No, I was just kind of talking myself.
I'd like to make a motion for us to, for the city to go ahead and purchase a laptop for the fire chief, as well as the protection plan and the case, the protection case for it as well. And the, what was the rest of
That's
that?
it. That's it.
That, okay, and let's go ahead and set a limit. Just because it's been a while since you went online to figure out both those things of $650.
Counselor Katie Ferguson.
I mean, I second that, sorry, I'm not making a motion.
Thank you. Counselor P. Verbevan made motion. Counselor Katie Ferguson second motion to purchase a laptop for the fire department. Open for discussion. Madam Clerk.
Which fund would you like this out of?
Where were the funds for the,
The other ones were purchased with ARPA money, and that was all of the overage that we had at that time.
and that has been eliminated?
It has
correct?
been eliminated, and then
Okay.
also a little bit was picked up by community development. And that would be the easiest place to pull that from.
That's what I was gonna ask, if that's a possibility. That was my next question. Clerk,
That makes
to go
sense.
ahead and determine where that would be best. Do I need to go ahead and install that in the motion? Okay,
Any further discussion? Counselor P. Verbevan.
aye.
Counselor Katie Ferguson.
Aye.
Counselor R. Verbevan.
All right,
Thank you. You done with changing to the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so in the chaos
Excuse
of.
excuse me, I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk.
If the council doesn't mind entertaining one more thing, I know it wasn't approved, and we can say no. I
No.
forgot to mention the Wi-Fi at the park with the cameras that are purchased. It doesn't matter what camera has been purchased, if we're not connected to Wi-Fi, it's gonna be hard to. It has the SD card, but the Wi-Fi is what keeps it connected to the app to keep it running.
Yeah,
Are you talking about security cameras?
Security camera, yes. And so there's one at the restroom, one at the gazebo, or there will be. And
So we
to-
need Wi-Fi?
you need Wi-Fi
Oh,
at
okay.
the park. And so I haven't called Gorgenet to see what that cost is. The caveat is that you would have one for guests, campers, tenters, whatever, and then you would have to have a separate one for your feed, so that people aren't
Right.
just at open access and able to get into your camera feed.
yeah.
Or you could just have the one and it would only be for camera. That would be kind of the
Oh,
Right, and I've been a big. I would like to see Wi-Fi down there because we get campers, tent campers, things like that.
Yeah,
I have the same camera set up and I get alerts when motion is sensed, things like that, so. There would probably be a combination of Terrell and somebody else having the app on their phone,
mhm,
because Terrell is outside of town.
mm.
That way, if something is broken into or alerted, it does record automatically, reports to the cloud, so. And it gives tourist people the ability to
mhm, mhm.
check their Google map or whatever, so.
And that's where I propose that we pull it from tourism.
Mm.
So ET can call home.
That qualifies under the stringent tourist fund money. Right.
At least for half of it, the other one being city business. I think at least with, the park rental that you're getting, you can justify the $40 a month.
Oh, but yes, definitely, definitely.
Councilor Katie Ferguson.
I make a motion to have Krista contact Gorgenet, is that what you said? About the two Wi-Fi networks, one public, one closed for the security cameras.
I think they can do it off of one router. No. Councilor Arthur Bennett.
I'll second that.
Councilor Katie Ferguson made motion, Councilor Arthur Bennett seconded motion to have Wi-Fi down in our city. Open for discussion. Not here. Oh,
Is there possibility for an alert to go out to like the sheriff's office if there, or whatever? Or does it need to be
I think
something a little bit closer?
on mine, which is very similar, you can have multiple people using it, viewing it. I don't think the sheriff's department would want to have to, get an alert for a cat running across setting off. My skunk did not trigger my camera, darn it, but, I think we just need to keep it, either to the maintenance position or myself or myself. Mine is not exactly like that, but it's very similar, and I can have two users at the same time with.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
It would just be because you guys had somebody almost steal the donation box or break into it, twice or
yeah,
whatever,
Yeah,
once, and
yeah.
then the trash fire. And those have just been the last couple of months, so we need to be able to capture the recording, either cloud record. It does have the SD card, but that's gonna depend on how often it's being used. So you do have the cloud option to save the camera footage if necessary, if you have Wi-Fi.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Pete Burbank, how you vote?
aye.
Councilor Katie Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilor Arthur Bennett.
Aye.
Thank you. Council is approved. Wi-Fi in our city park. You did get approved for your fire department laptop.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I forgot about that.
That's okay.
You got you. Any other changes to our agenda? chair to read the ordinance. 201 for a second.
Ordinance 201.
For a second.
Oh.
Reason why we have to do a complete reading of it, because in the case of our last meeting, we did not vote on it.
Yep.
If we would have voted on it, we could have just read it by number only
Entitled.
in title. So
Gotcha.
we will make sure and make a vote on it.
Ordinance 201, an ordinance creating a new chapter of the city of Mitchell ordinances concerning camping within the city. Whereas the ordinance relates to camping on city property and establishes objectively
Glenn,
Sorry.
thank you.
I'm sorry.
reasonable regulations on sleeping and keeping warm and dry in compliance with ORS 195530. And whereas the city of Mitchell, like many other cities in Oregon, is experiencing an increase of unsanctioned camping in public spaces and rights of way. The entire state of Oregon at all levels of government is struggling to address issues related to affordable housing and those without adequate housing. And whereas the city parks were designed and intended for recreational uses and outdoor activities, public rights of way, city parks, and or other city properties were not designated or intended for overnight use in the same way as a recreational campsite. People living in makeshift camps in the right of way, local parks, or other public spaces often lack access to safe and sanitary restrooms and trash receptacles, resulting in unsanitary conditions from improper disposal of human waste and trash. Whereas this ordinance is intended to address health and safety concerns of public, city residents, and individuals residing or camping within the city. This ordinance will promote a safe environment, limit unsanitary conditions, allocate public resources effectively, and meet legal and humanitarian standards for all people within the city. Whereas the city recognizes the varied nature of the problem of people experiencing homelessness that has contributed to individuals locating themselves in the right of way and on publicly owned property. This ordinance is intended to provide for the humane treatment of individuals experiencing homelessness, and whereas the city finds that limitations on locations of campsites on city property supports the safety of people in campsites as well as traveling public and community. And whereas this ordinance does not criminalize or otherwise subject an individual to citation for the acts of sitting, lying, sleeping, or keeping warm and dry on public property. Instead, this ordinance establishes reasonable time, place, and manner regulations that balance the rights of the people without shelter to use some public spaces to meet basic needs with the city's obligation to manage public spaces to meet their intended uses and to maintain healthy and safety for everyone in the city. Now, therefore, the city council, city of Mitchell, ordains as follows. Section 1 findings, the recital set forth above are hereby adopted as support for the amendments herein. Section 2, a new chapter of the Mitchell ordinances are hereby as follows. Ordinance 201 camping in city definitions as used in this chapter. Camper camping means to pitch, erect, create, use, or occupy camp facilities for the purpose of habitation, as evidenced by the use of camp paraphernalia. Camp facilities include but are not limited to tents, huts, temporary shelters, motor vehicles, or recreational vehicles. Camp paraphernalia includes but is not limited to tarpaulins, cots, beds, sleeping bags, blankets, mattresses, hammocks, or outdoor cooking devices, or utensils and similar equipment. City administrator, city clerk means the city of Mitchell, city administrator, city clerk, or their designee. Dwelling means a single unit providing complete independent facilities for one or more persons, including permanent provisions for living, sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation. Established campsite or established a campsite means any place where one or more persons have established temporary sleeping accommodations by the use of camp facilities or camp paraphernalia for more than 24 consecutive hours. Motor vehicle means a vehicle that is self-propelled or designed for self-propulsion. Parking lot means a developed location that is designated for parking vehicles, whether developed with asphalt, concrete, gravel, or other material. Personal property means items that can reasonably be identified as belonging to an individual and that have apparent value or utility. Public property means any real property for structures owned, leased, or managed by the city, including public rights of way. Public rights of way means all property dedicated to the public for transportation purposes and administered by the city, including streets, roads, bridges, alleys, sidewalks, trails, paths, and all other public rights of way are areas managed by the city. Recreational vehicle RV means a vehicle with or without motive power that is designed for the temporary living quarters and as further defined by the Oregon Department of Revenue or Transportation, OAR Chapter 735, Division 022. Examples include motorhomes, camping trailers, tent trailers, truck campers, and camper vans. Solid waste means any garbage, trash, debris, yard waste, food waste, or other discarded materials. Store or storage means to put aside, accumulate for use when needed to put safekeeping or to place or leave in a location. Vehicle means a motor vehicle or recreational vehicle. 2012, permitted camping on private property notwithstanding the prohibitions in ordinance 115-132. The ordinance of a commercial or industrial property, a public entity, a religious institution, or a place of worship may allow vehicle or tent camping to persons provided that such accommodations are made free of charge. Occupancy is limited to no more than 2 vehicles or tents at the same time in any combination, and vehicles or tents are located with an on-premise parking lot and are spaced at least 10 feet apart, and all items, all items and materials are stored in vehicles or tents or in separate storage area that is screened from view from adjacent properties and public rights of way. And campers are provided access to sanitary facilities, including a toilet, hand washing, trash disposal facilities, with such facilities being at least 20 feet from the property line of a residential use, if not fully contained within a building. And an inspection is performed by the city to confirm that sanitary facilities are in place, required setbacks are met, and any storage areas are screened before vehicle or tent camping is commenced. A property owner who allows camping pursuant to subsection A of the section may revoke that permission at any time for any reason. Notwithstanding the provisions of this section, city administrator, city clerk may revoke the rights of a property owner to allow camping on property described in subsection A of this section upon finding that the property owner or camper has violated any applicable law, ordinance, rule, guideline, or agreement, or that any activity occurring on the property by a camper is incompatible with the use of the property. Revoke permission for a person to camp on public property upon finding that the person has violated any applicable law, ordinance, rule, guideline, or agreement, or that activity occurring on public property by the person is incompatible with the use of the property. Any person whose permission to camp on property has been revoked pursuant to subsection B or C of this section must vacate and remove all belongings from property within 24 hours of receiving such notice, except as otherwise allowed in this section. Camping on residential property is not permitted. 201.3, camping prohibited in certain places, except as expressly authorized by the city of Mitchell's ordinances. It is unlawful to establish, use, or occupy a campsite in the following locations: city parks, including property identified for development for future parks, to within visual line of sight from a constructed and sited recreational trail on public property. The following city-owned facilities and associated grounds that are open to the public: City Hall, public restroom property, cemetery, EMS property, Mitchell Community Hall, city-owned or maintained parking lots unless identified as a vehicle camping lot, public rights of way adjacent to or within 500 feet of a lot parcel containing an elementary school, secondary school, daycare facility, child care facility, or facility providing services to homeless persons. Public rights of way adjacent to a lot parcel containing a dwelling. Except as expressly authorized by the code, it shall be unlawful for any person to store personal property on public property. Notwithstanding the provisions of this section, the city administrator, city clerk may temporarily authorize camping or storage of personal property on public property by written order that specifies the period of time, location upon finding it to be in the public interest and consistent with city council goals and policies. 201.4, scheduling and notice of campsite cleanup. Cleanup of illegal campsites will be scheduled by the city administrator or law enforcement. Signs may be posted advertising that camping is prohibited. Whether or not a sign is posted, a specific date and time notice will be posted and distributed in the area of a scheduled cleanup at least 72 hours before the cleanup. Notwithstanding subsections A and B of this section, cleanup of campsites may occur immediately and without notice if law enforcement officers determine that either of the following conditions exist. An emergency such as possible site contamination by hazardous material or where there is immediate danger to human life or safety or illegal activity other than duty. At the time of the cleanup and provided in a written notice posted and distributed under section E of this section, a telephone number will be provided where information on picking up the store property can be obtained during normal business hours. Written notices will be in both English and Spanish. Copies of notices shall be provided to a local agency that delivers social services to homeless individuals in Wheeler County. 201.5 removal, storage, and retrieval of personal property. Personal property will be separated from solid waste during cleanup. Solid waste will be immediately discarded. Items of personal property will be turned over to law enforcement, public works, and/or maintenance and stored at the City Hall EMS hall. The personal property shall be stored for no less than 30 days, during which time it will be reasonably available to persons claiming ownership of the personal property. When conducting a campsite removal, the city shall arrange in advance for a location for personal property to be stored. Any personal property that remains unclaimed for 30 days after the cleanup may be disposed of, sold, donated, used, or transferred as abandoned personal property, but no waiting period beyond the 30 days is required prior to the disposal, sale, donation, used, or transfer. Weapons, drug paraphernalia, and items which reasonably appear to be either stolen or evidence of a crime may be retained or disposed of by law enforcement in accordance with applicable policies and procedures. 201.6 violation penalty. The city administrator, city clerk, law enforcement officers charged with enforcement of the code are hereby designated to administer and enforce the provisions of this chapter. All violations of this chapter shall be enforced under ordinance 115 and 132 of this ordinance. Violations of this chapter shall carry the penalty of $50 for the first violation and $100 for each subsequent violation. 2017, non-exclusive remedy. The remedies described in this chapter shall not be the exclusive remedies of the city for violations of this chapter. 2018, interpretation. This chapter is to be interpreted consistent with applicable state statutes and providing the protections required by the state statute. Section 3, savings. Notwithstanding these amendments, the city ordinance provisions in existence at the time any criminal or civil enforcement actions were commenced shall remain valid and full force and effect for purposes of all cases filed or commenced during the times said provisions or portions thereof were operative. Section 4, severability. The sections, subsections, paragraphs, and clauses of this ordinance are severable. The invalidity of one section, subsection, paragraph, or clause shall not affect the validity of the remaining section, subsection, paragraph, and clause. Codification. Provisions of this ordinance shall be incorporated into the city ordinances, and the word ordinance or section may be changed to code, title, chapter, or other word, and sections of this ordinance may be renumbered, relettered, and the city clerk is authorized to correct any cross references, any typographical errors. Section 6, effective date. The ordinance will go into effect on the 30th day after city council enactment as provided in the Mitchell Charter, adopted this 20th day of July 2023.
And clerk,
Should it be 20th day of June?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because
Yeah.
it's adopted
Right.
30 days after today. So it goes into effect in 30 days. So you still have that section under codification where I can make the change. And what needs to happen.
Yeah.
But I did that to make sure that we were.
and in a nutshell, what this is allowing is for the city to give protection to the citizens. I've heard numerous people, I've had 3 people come to me about this. Come to me because they were given misinformation. This allows enforcement of homeless, houseless people invading your personal property. July 1st, the state is basically turning, if you don't have anything in place by July 1st, you have to go by the state guideline, which state guideline is outrageously loose. In discussions on the Mayor's Association, there have been numerous discussions about it, and all the mayors that are in the discussion, they're in agreement with a ordinance, because if you don't have the ordinance, you're at the mercy of the state's guideline, which they can camp wherever they want, they can camp in your front yard, you can't do nothing about it if we don't have an ordinance in place. I know everybody's gonna say, well, we don't have the problem. Well, 10 years ago, Prineville didn't have a problem. 20 years ago, Bend didn't have a problem. If we do not have a ordinance in, and in the mayor's discussions, the homeless houseless, they will scour cities to find no ordinance. They will go there. There's cities in our own area that, to the best of my knowledge, aren't gonna have an ordinance. They don't have the problem. Our thinking is we need to be ahead of this, cut it off before it happens. I know everybody's been saying, well, you can't tell us what we can do on our property. We can have somebody camp. Exactly, but if you get John Q. Public pitching a tent in your yard, if we don't have something saying John Q. Public cannot camp in your yard because it's not. If you, like Gabe has campers, he knows he has campers. If I had somebody show up in my yard pitching a tent, if we didn't have an ordinance, I couldn't, if I told him to leave, I'd have to store his stuff. There's a whole under the state guideline.
The sheriff's department would come to and remove them from your property.
Never more
No,
than 10
no.
days, isn't it 7 or 10 days? Sorry.
There's specific wording in
And
the way you can remove somebody, but if you tell somebody to leave, you have to store their stuff in a secured box.
Can I just make one comment, Bill?
Yeah.
I think the reason why people are so up in arms about it is because they read it and I didn't read it myself because she was reading it, so I didn't have to. Thank you, Krista. But there's verbiage in there that I think makes it sound like the city can tell you, oh, you can't have campers in your yard because you don't have them 10 feet apart. You don't have this. I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
So in the situation, I'm gonna pick, there's a property up on Huddleston that has a home on 5 acres. If that person chose to house the homeless and say, go ahead and you can all pitch your tent here, and there's 50 tents out there on those 5 acres. That may not be something that is healthy for the city. It may not be something that is, maybe the neighbors don't like it, maybe they're up all night or what have you, they're bringing trash and who knows. But maybe it's not something that the city thinks is a good idea. It is discretion, just like all the other ordinances and the nuisances that we already have. Gabe came to the city asking for the meter to be put in, so we're fully aware of him having those places.
Yeah.
So, and that was approved.
Isn't that why we put no trespassing signs on a private property that you can get people off? I know it works for the ranchers.
No,
But as
yeah.
of July
It works
1st,
for all the other properties.
No, it does not. So, because there was a case where the houseless came and said that it was not humane what they were doing. And so that's why the law goes into effect July 1 that says you now have to treat people humanely, which is to store their things, because one person said, hey, that's all of my stuff. You guys just got rid of all of my personal belongings. And so that's not humane either. And so it's different than stepping foot for ranching or for hunting on somebody's property. It's somebody who is taking up space that either the city deems as a problem or that you deem as a problem.
I can see why the city would want to do this for city property, but do we not have an ordinance in at the park and the RV place for a certain amount of days? You can be there. Certain amount of days or nights, there's an ordinance for that.
So it goes with that discretion thing, right? You know that there's campers that are there that are paying, there's people at the hostel, there's people in RVs, it's a housing crisis, I get it, but it's not like a red and green light where it's like, all right, you've met the threshold, that's it, you're done. It is not intended to be that, it is really intended to be support for the people, but also, you know, support for the city, so that the city can say like, hey, we don't really want 40 tents on your 5 acres because it's affecting you know, other people's quality of life.
What about when the firefighters are camped out on school property?
But see, again,
I know,
that's,
they're camped out on.
but
public
you're
property.
red light, green light, you're saying like,
That's
well,
the
they
discretion
fall in,
part.
that's where the discretion comes in, they're obviously
Yeah.
there for a reason. When you have all of these things that name out, you know, what camping is and what unwelcome visitors are, and also the title of it being, you know, a new with the houseless and homeless, so like all of these whereas kind of sets up the scenario. It doesn't say like, okay, so anytime there's, you know, more than 20 people gathered together, we're gonna come in and get you out. That's not what we're interested in.
It just protects the city and private property owners for a scenario that could happen. And when it does happen, and if we don't have this, we have to follow the state's precedents and the state's guidelines, which would be a lot more loose and a lot of a longer process to remove
I
anybody.
know a lot of people that came here and a lot of people in town are saying, nobody's gonna tell me what I can do on my property.
No one is.
And I
It's
don't say,
Well, that is, I think that's where the
if I have a
frustration and the confusion
trespassing
is.
sign, no trespassing sign, my gates are locked, they better not come in.
But correct, absolute, everyone agrees on that. But
Okay.
what this is doing is, as of July 1st, the state says your no trespassing sign won't do anything. If you do not have an ordinance in your city saying that people coming and camping on your property is allowed, they are allowed. And if you want them gone, you have to follow the state's process to remove them, not your ordinance.
I have a friend that works in Medford, and she works for the state. And where they have their homeless people at is right where they have their state buildings. It's, they're in like a circle or whatever. That's where their homeless people are, most of them. And she says that they're not supposed to be asking any of the workers or anything for money or anything like that. They do all the time. And she's been, they're on this thing where they're trying to figure out where they're gonna go on vacation. And where they're gonna go on vacation is where there's cities that don't put these ordinances in. So then the cities have to go ahead and pay for them to get moved someplace.
Yeah.
Pay for all the material, every piece of blanket,
Have sanitary.
whatever they have.
facilities.
They have to, the city then has to store that.
It's like.
So this
property-
is what this is trying to eliminate.
Yes. I
Because
know.
there are people that are in homeless camps right now going, hey, where are we going for vacation this year? And who's
I
gonna
know.
be paying for it? The city of Mitchell does not have funding
I dealt with
available for any of
homelessness
that.
in Portland. I opened up a downtown building for the city of Portland.
Yeah.
And it was especially built to house the homeless. They chose not to, the homeless chose not to move it. I have dealt with homelessness for a long time, San Diego, LA, all over. If we have it here, which it might be, I know how I'm gonna deal with it on my property. I don't want nobody telling me what I'm doing on my property. I pay my taxes. I take care of my property.
As of July 1st, that won't be, that's the point though. As of July 1st, that won't be good enough to remove someone off your property.
I'm not-
Per the state.
Without the ordinance. I know, but I'm not, the state scaring us all saying, okay, if you don't do this, then we're gonna take over and send out stuff. No,
So
that, I don't want scare tactics.
it sounds like.
This isn't, this is just a protection
No,
for
I didn't miss
everybody.
it. I know what's going on.
It sounds like that your upsetness is misdirected
No,
because
it's
it's
not. You
because.
can say that.
Wait,
No,
excuse
it's
me.
true.
I don't know. I wasn't.
This is really civil. I just want to speak for myself, and I think Krista agrees. I really try, because I've talked to people. I had personally didn't understand the confusion until like Glenn just said, the verbiage and everything, and I get the verbiage, but I really do. I think it's important to clarify because I completely agree and understand where you're coming from about your property and think the same exact thing. I think that's where the general misunderstanding of it isn't a scare tactic. It's just that if we don't, the rules that are in place now would not allow you protection. You would not, your property would not be protected if we do not have this ordinance.
You won't be able to call the sheriff's department and say, Mitch, I got people in my yard I don't want here. They climbed over my fence. I want you to get over here and get him out of here. And what he's gonna say, if we don't go ahead and put this in, he's gonna have to say, Teresa, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Make sure that you have the bathroom ready, the towels ready for them to go ahead and take a shower. That's what he's gonna be doing.
Thanks for coming.
So,
Yeah,
Why can't you put in a phrase on private property, not, no camping, blah, 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 blah. On private property, quote, without property owner approval or permission. Why can't you put those words in there?
Yeah.
they are in
That's all
there.
I wanted.
it's
I don't-
already in there, isn't it?
It is in there. It
Yeah.
is on B. What is this? 201.2, section B, a property owner who allows camping pursuant to subsection A of the section may revoke that permission at any time. And then also sentence 1 is that you may allow it. So you are allowed to let people on and also not want them anymore. You are granted that.
Anymore.
So here's
Right.
a scenario. You say, Bob, you can stay here. You're homeless and I feel bad for that. Bob, you can stay. Well, then maybe a week goes by or a couple of weeks go by and you're like, Bob is really not your jam anymore and you want Bob to leave. Well, now you can't ask Bob to leave.
You've already let
You've
him on.
already let him there, but with having this gives you, either way, you're done with Bob, you can ask him to leave. And if we don't have something in place, well, then Bob just gets to stay. You have to give him an eviction notice, you have to park his stuff, you have to go through all of those things like he was a tenant.
And that can take like
30 days.
This
Oh,
gives you,
it
yeah,
can take you a
exactly.
lot
You have
longer
to go
than
through
30
the-
days.
Correct. And so this gives you, this protects you to let people stay, but also up to your discretion, your property, when you want them to go for, and it says for any reason, at any time and for any reason.
I completely understand where everybody is coming from as far as, nobody's gonna tell me what I can do on my.
That's
property,
right.
But at the same time,
I can see where they're coming from.
go to the bin.
And also, it's just, no one is telling you, we're in fact, this is saying you can do whatever you want on your, this is what gives you permission to do that.
Go over to bin behind standard TV and those people are doing what they're doing, that's private property.
Well, and right now, I could come camp on your property. You don't have to be houseless. Right now, as of July 1st, if we
As of
didn't
July
have
first,
this,
anybody can camp.
I could come on your property and you wouldn't be able to tell me to leave. Anyone.
Hang on, whoa.
Too much talking.
It's plain and simple, is this benefits our citizens. It is a way that the city is allowing because we don't have our own city PD. This allows the sheriff's department to enforce our ordinance. We're not saying that you can't have, if you know that John Q. Public is going to stay in a tent in your front yard and you're all good with it, that's fine. But if John Q. Public just posts up there
Without your permission.
without your permission, that's where
This
we
protects
can
you.
enforce it. So
Does that clear up?
there was a lot of miscommunication because everybody's under the impression that, oh, the city's telling us what we can and cannot do. That is not.
Can I
true.
ask one question? May I ask one question? Can y'all clarify again about, like, for instance, Gabe, renting, like, he's got like, I guess, 5 or 6, RV spots that he has income from, and then you have Dan Cannon and Mary that also have a couple that they want to receive income from, because it says such accommodations are made free of charge is as one of their requirements. Can y'all please clarify that isn't going to affect people that want to receive income from a camper trailer?
It goes back to having that discretion. So nobody is saying that would have to include us as well, because we have RV campers. And in no way are we saying we don't want you to not have income. We approved Gabe's last meter to be placed so that he could put that RV there. It's not intended for that. You have to read the document in its entirety, where it is intended for the humane treatment of the houseless and homeless. And if the Mary's place was already approved to have campers, it's not intended for somebody let's say the Rainbow people just decided today that they wanted to come and camp on the Oregon Hotel lawn. They have every right to do that. And if it's affecting you, well, then just too bad. It's intended for those kinds of scenarios. It's not this like, okay, well, we're gonna monitor who's in this Spoken Hostel parking lot saying, oh my gosh, you're 9.5 feet away and not 10, and you have campers. It has nothing to do with anybody's income. It has to do with unwanted guests and supporting the property owners as well as city property in protecting our property rather than us telling you what you can and can't do. However, if you were to tomorrow bring in 50 tents and they were all scattered around, you know, the Little Pine, well, then the city might have something to say about that, but they're not. I mean, even at that, it doesn't even, there would be some conversations that would be had, like, you know, are you having, you know, are these guests welcome, or, you know, what is your intentions? And so it's not designed to, you know, the minute that somebody steps a toe out of line, sort of this fashion that we're just going to like, all right, that's it. It's again with other ordinances, discretion on whether those people are invited or not, and whether it affects your neighbors and the quality of life for the rest of the people in town.
Thank you.
Thank
that-
you.
Are you able to hear us okay, Duana?
Yes, the sound is marvelous. Thank you.
Perfect. That's,
Great.
I was gonna message you, but we're in a meeting, so thank you for your input. Okay, so, do we have a motion or anything yet? No.
No motion, it was just read and discussed.
Yeah.
Okay.
May I offer a suggestion, like Kathy said, kind of change a little bit of words, because city people, a lot of them, like I said, such as myself, don't like it the way it's worded right now. Just change a few words.
Oh, and those words I said.
Yeah.
Well, the words you said, I addressed are in
Counselor
there.
R. Counselor R.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't the attorney somewhere put this together?
Correct.
This
And
is
this is from
from
another
the city of Banks, right? We adopted from city of Banks, or paying $1,200 to $1,500 for our attorney to draw something up. This was approved by their city attorney. And, you know, just,
My statement is then, I guess, that if a professional legal person has looked at this, has our attorney looked at this?
He has not.
Huh.
I will say, I do, not that I'm an attorney, but I do have a paralegal degree.
And then, I don't know if we can talk about hearsay. So you can stop me. In regards to this, Patrick, talking with the state police, is that something I can talk about?
he talked to me about the same thing. It wasn't state police, it was two other police chiefs, and they are 100% in agreement with an ordinance. Because their cities do have an ordinance. I don't know, I can't remember what cities they were, but Pat was, at our first reading, he was very opposed to it. And I wish he was here, because then he'd speak on his own behalf, but he is
She
in
spoke to me today.
100% agreement with. Kaylee just had a discussion with him today also. And it's, we either have something in place or
Face the consequences.
face the consequences. And myself, as the mayor, I would like to see something cut off before it happens, rather than clean up on Isle Mitchell. We have 10 tent campers, you know. And, you know, it goes back to what I'll do, you know, I'll tell them to move. Well, it's time to change. We're not in the 70s and 80s anymore.
Yeah.
I had a good analogy. It's like the renter and the landlord. The renter has more
Rights.
power than the landlord.
Yep.
So this gives the power back to the landlord.
Does Fossil and Spray and all those, have they passed this ordinance?
So I will comment on that. Yes,
Okay.
because fossil, they don't have a problem.
That was their comment.
Yeah.
But as the mayors have chatted amongst themselves, these people will look for the cities that don't have the ordinance and they will go there.
I mean, we don't have any way to bring, mushroom dispensary here, but we still voted on that.
And what?
We'll research it.
A mushroom dispensary.
I just have a question. If these people are searching out cities that don't have ordinances, how are they gonna find out we don't have them? There's none of our stuff's online.
Well, I'm sure the state will have the record.
Public records request.
Oh.
And we're right here on Zoom.
And it's on Zoom, yeah.
You know.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson.
I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance 201. I just lost it in front of me. Yes, ordinance 201.
Thank you.
I second it.
Councilor P. Verbobank.
I'd like to second that, please, sir.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson made the motion. Councilor P. Verbobank seconded the motion to approve ordinance 201. Open for discussion or any further discussion.
I have discussion.
Madam Clerk.
Somebody doesn't need to be recognized to have a second.
Councilor
Well,
Arbor.
I think the biggest problem is everybody's focused on not hearing discretionary. I'm pretty sure Mitch, Jeremiah ain't gonna be cruising around to see who's got somebody camped in the front yard unless you call them up and say, good God, we got gypsies in the front yard and we don't pass this ordinance. You're gonna be pissed, you wanna go do something, but it'll end up, you're the illegal one. And that gypsy in your front yard got all the rights.
And we'll be
So this
moving
is,
into your home.
You know, it's a protection that I'm willing to accept.
I just want to make one more comment, probably not that
Madam
it
Clerk.
changes anything. We have had complaints from certain people in the community about how yards look. And these people bring in all of our TLT dollars, and I can only imagine what would happen if you end up with one of these encampments and how that affects the TLT dollars that people bring in and how we now can't remove them or can't do something about it. So that is something to consider with the tourism.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Councilor P. Verbobank, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Kaylee Ferguson.
Aye.
Councilor R. Verbobank.
All right,
Thank you, council. We will do another reading next week.
Nope.
This was
was
the
it.
second.
This
Oh,
was
it's
the second.
unanimous, huh?
and
Oh, second
Second
reading.
reading.
That's right. This was the
And
second.
do we have any
reading.
public hearings?
No,
No appointments?
no, it would say under there.
Okay. Get the word out that we do have a seat open, we can turn in and stuff or get the word out, have them contact the clerk. Counselor, anybody, any counselors have a 2-minute comment they would like
yes,
to?
I do.
Counselor R. Verbobank, hang on, let me get my timer going.
Now, I want you all to mark this on your calendar. I agree with Pat. I think it's despicable. Maybe in Russia, you can't comment on something like that. I think when you're doing city business, they should have a brief, not a display like we had here. But they should have a moment, 2 minutes to say their piece on it before we vote. It just seems right.
Yeah, I think CIS will approve it.
Excuse me.
Now, I'd like to make a comment to Teresa about, we don't want to get rid of Glenn, we don't want to get rid of Terrell, but guess what? I ain't naming names, but several citizens in this town called all these state officials and made unfounded, undocumented, no evidence claims against the city leaders. And that raised the red flag, and so they came in here and now tell us what we have to do with Glenn and what we have to do with Terrell. And, not us, the committee, not the mayor, not Krista. This is CIS telling us now what to do. It's nothing new. I know Ron went on about new rules. These rules aren't rules, they're laws. And they've been in effect a long time. But us as a city never complied and was never held to task on it. And would have gone on for another 100 years until somebody kicked up the hornet's nest. And this is the result. We have no say on it. It's just like how you feel about your property.
Right.
Well, we have no say on it. They're telling us how to treat Glenn, how to treat city employees. And this is the way it's going to be. And if you don't, we don't have insurance. It'll affect us. It's just not a good thing. Nobody here set out to try to get rid of our employees. Glenn's been here a long time.
Okay, Ron, sorry.
Sorry, did I go past?
I let you go a little bit past
Yeah,
that. I just wanted to chime in on Ron's comment was, yes, everybody is up in arms about the way the city is running. And Ron said it perfectly. Everybody's pointing the finger at myself or the city clerk. It is not. We've had false allegations. They've been proven false allegations held into the Department of Justice, to our Ethics Commission, League of Oregon Cities, CIS. You start talking amongst with those people, they talk amongst themselves. We did not invite them to our city. They invited themselves because of the numerous calls that they were getting. To the best of my knowledge, as I stand here, every allegation that has been brought to these people have been false. I'm in the middle of defending myself against a ethics violation, which my attorney says will be taken care of in August. Again, the Ethics Board, my attorney both agreed, they all agreed that it was false allegations. So I would like, if people can get the word out, to stop pointing fingers, because we did not start this. Everybody says, well, that's not the way it was done. Well, just because it wasn't done that way doesn't mean it wasn't the proper way to be done. We are finding out a lot of things that were done in the past were not properly done. We are having to do so much cleanup to bring our city from the brink of losing our insurance, becoming unincorporated, to where we have a city, we have a functioning departments, we have reports, we have a cohesive, working, functioning city. So my 2 minutes are up.
Steve, to be perfectly honest and to be level about this, in October, when you turned councilman into the ethics committee, I think that's where a lot of that started. Because a lot of people in town were very upset about it and stuff. I haven't said anything to anybody about it either. No, because they can say whatever they want.
And that's probably why my ethics complaint was retaliatory.
Was what?
Retaliatory. I was told to file the complaint.
By whom?
I cannot divulge personal information.
I have another question when I can speak. I know it's counselor comments now.
Real quick,
Okay, real quick, I just wanted to respectfully ask Krista to please reinstate me on her city mailing list so that I can receive the agenda packet. Since I attend the meetings via Zoom, it would be very helpful. Thank you.
hey, we're working on getting a website to where we can post it online also. So I do know that it's going to be a priority. Any other councilor comments? Could we get a motion to adjourn? Counselor Pete Herbert.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn our meeting this evening, June 20th, 2023.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.